what's going on? Hope y'all are having a dope ass day today. It's your boy Alex and I'm back today with another reaction video with a very special guest. Definitely one of the nicest, down-to-earth musicians I've had the pleasure of speaking with. We have joined with us today Eugene from JINJER. Eugene, how are you doing, man?
Hi guys, absolutely stoked to be here with you today, and I am honored. I'm really honored because your channel has been one of those few which I really followed and watched from time to time, and it's something really special to me. So thanks for inviting.
Of course, man. That means that's crazy coming from you because I'm such a big fan of JINJER and you in general that I was like, I've been watching your bass playthroughs. Even last night, I was checking out the bass playthrough on your channel for 8, right? And I was watching it over and over again, and last night I was laying in bed like half asleep and I was like, I'm gonna watch that one more time. Just like watching you play is so fun, man. So I can't express my gratitude for you being here today.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. I don't think there are many people watching me playing bass, so
I am. I'm checking it out. Yeah, man. So we had the pleasure of speaking a little bit before off camera, and it was awesome conversation. Something that I wanted to ask you about was kind of like what type of music have you been listening to recently? Just like what are the last few songs or artists or bands you've been checking out? Probably Opeth.
Right, you are. How did you get this? It's exactly the last thing I listened to. Because yesterday, it's an interesting story. Okay. Yesterday I was trying to be cheated. Yeah, so I booked my flights back to Ukraine, and yesterday I had a call saying it was Turkish Airlines call center, and they were trying to persuade me that my flight was canceled.
What?
Yeah, and it's believe me or not, seriously, they were trying to persuade me that my flight was canceled, and I checked the app, I checked everything. Yeah. There was no cancellation, and at some point I understood it was some kind of fraud. And I just decided to go straight to the airport and check everything, from the first hands. Yeah. Yeah, and on the way there, I was listening to Offspring. And because I just wanted to, I was very much in a hurry, and I wanted something very dynamic. Yeah. Yes. And I wanted something like it's like fighting fire with fire. I wanted some music which will suppress my anger because it was very angry. Bad. Yeah. Yeah, and then I went there. They just calmed me down, told me everything was all right. Yeah, I got a bunch of extra information which I needed, and I was absolutely at the positive side. Yeah, and I needed something to relax. I needed to listen to something which would be like my favorite piece, and I listened to Blackwater Park by Opeth. Yeah, all the way from the Los Angeles airport here.
Yeah. See, I love that, by the way. I know that you love Opeth, and I kind of wanted to ask, what about Opeth makes you like them so much? Is there something that sticks out about that band in particular?
Man, it's hard to explain. Thing is that I've been listening to them for almost 20 years now. Okay. Yeah, not long ago, just a few days ago, I was writing a special piece of biography. Okay. So I'm kind of spilling the beans here. So yeah, it will be out on something very, very, very special. Okay. And I was just trying to recollect the times of old when I was a teenager and how I got into that. And it was when I first heard Opus, I was about 13 or 14 years old. Sure. And it was very much different from everything else I was listening to that time. So, and I now looking back at the whole, history of heavy music and progressive music, I can definitely say that in the year of 2001, when Blackwater Park was out, 2001, they made something absolutely astonishingly different from everyone else around. Right. So, and there is no surprise that I got into this because in many ways, I was just amazed how different they were. Yeah. And there was something intricate in their music, and there is still this thing. They have some. Michael Ockerfeld just has this very special feeling of a melody. Okay. Melody is what makes them different. This is why Opus stand out. There's their own approach to music itself. So you can hear something no matter which album it is, like very old one, death metal Opus, or this recent new ones which are not death metal at all, but you can still say this is Opus. Right.
And that's what Jinjer has too, right? Like, if I try to categorize Jinjer and just say what type of subgenre, I can't come up with one. The best thing that you could use to describe Jinjer is progressive, because it's so different and it's so out there. And I think that I've watched a lot of interviews with you and Tatiana specifically, and I've noticed that you both like to listen to, I'm sure you like to listen to metal, but you guys like to listen to a ton of different genres. And I've noticed this common theme that you guys like to make music that will entertain yourselves. Obviously you want to entertain the fans and everybody, but you don't want to be bored with the music you're playing. So I think that it's so cool to have a bunch of different intriguing interests in music, and then we as fans can hear that in your music. We can hear the reggae, we can hear like little bits of, you know, all your influences and who you look up to. It's so cool. And that's kind of how I came into Jinjer, because like a lot of people, my very first song hearing you guys was the Pisces video. And I think that what's interesting about Jinjer is Tatiana is like the hook. I feel like she hooks everybody in where it's like, oh my God, are you hearing her scream? It's nuts. But the reason that I stick around and I love you guys so much is because every individual band, you included, tremendous, is like everybody plays such an integral part in the band, and you guys perform at such a high caliber that it's like, oh fuck, like she's what hooked me in. Y'all are all what made me stay. And it's so beautiful. I love it.
Man, Alex, I cannot even describe how pleased I am with what you're saying now, and it is very, very important for us as musicians to know that there are people out there like you
Sure.
are who see the message, who really go that deep, and who really understand why and what we are making.
Yes.
It's just one of the best compliments I've ever gotten.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Like, you guys just keep creating, keep doing you, and that's the biggest compliment we can get as fans, is just hearing what you guys have to say and put out there. So I appreciate that. I did want to touch a little bit. I did some research on you and found that like around 15 years old, you were pretty much a professional-ish athlete, right? Doing not taekwondo, but you were doing martial arts, jiu-jitsu, judo, stuff like that, right?
I was doing jiu-jitsu and judo when I was 15, mostly judo, and I cannot say I was that. I didn't get much money from that, for sure. And this is what draws the line between professionals and amateurs.
Yes.
So at that point, that time in Ukraine, it was very hard to be a professional athlete. Yeah, it was all amateur because there was no financial reward.
Okay.
But how much effort and time I put into that, definitely that could, you know, set me as a semi-professional, because I was so much deep into that. I didn't care about anything else. I was in a gym every day for 4 hours, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And I was absolutely crazy about that. Absolutely crazy about that. And well, I'm generally a humble person, but I could.
I was fucking
16,
awesome.
15, yeah, I was 15, 16 years old, and I could actually compete. I could stand against grown-up guys, you know, in their 20s, in my weight class for sure. But I could create a real challenge for them. I could compete with them, and it speaks about something. Yeah, and you know, looking back at those times, I can say that what I got from there is very important in my musician career now for me, because sport and martial arts do not only build up your body, but these things build up your mental skills, your character. This is something which gives you much more than physical strength. It gives you mental strength.
Yes.
It gives you, you know, these things like courage, confidence, determination. And this is which will help you. This is why I always tell parents to try, at least, no children should be forced to, but at least parents should try to, you know, get their children into martial arts, because these things which they will learn being kids will help them further in their life.
Right. And you know, I think that it's so cool because whenever I haven't experienced this, but I've done enough research to know that I'd like to get into it as well, but that's another story for another time.
It is never too late. It is never too late.
I'm
should
ready.
If you feel like.
But martial arts seems to not even be something that you do. It's not even a fun thing. It's not even like a little hobby. It's kind of, you adopt it into your life. It becomes a lifestyle at some point. It teaches you the discipline. It teaches you, like you said, the courage. It gives you those necessary skills to be an upstanding citizen in society, I feel like. Now,
absolutely correct.
Now, one of my questions for you was, you mentioned how martial arts kind of made you and shaped you into like a better person, but have you experienced anything, did your early martial arts career prepare you at all for being a musician? Prepare you for going on tour? Did that play any factor at all, or was it completely unrelated?
100% related.
Okay.
Because, you know, this determination and stubbornness, even, or a bit of recklessness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I just, what I learned from martial arts and what I implemented later on in my music career is the constant push forward, no matter what. If something knocks you down, you need just to stand up, pull yourself together, and keep going.
Right.
Yeah, every single fail only prepares you for the future success.
Right.
Yeah, and what doesn't kill us only makes us stronger.
True.
Yeah, if being in a band, you go somewhere 1,000 kilometers away from your home,
yeah,
and play for 30 people in front of the stage who don't give a shit about you.
Right.
It should not make you depressed. It should make you only more motivated, so that next time you come there to the same place and play on the same stage, there will be all those 30 people plus 30 more.
Right.
And will be a small but still win situation.
I agree 100%. And I think too that, like, now you are very humble. Just from talking about this, I don't think you're gonna agree with me, but you should, because it's true that Ginger is a top tier band. You guys are so popular, you're so huge, that I think that essentially those failures, you know, are preparing you for being at the top. To get to a successful point in life are failures all the way up. So for you to experience that and be able to, like you said, get knocked down and step back up, huge lesson learned.
I completely agree with you. I partially disagree with you, slightly disagree with you when you're saying that we're that big, because there was a thing recently. We announced these social distancing shows in Europe for September, and Metal Hammer UK wrote an article which started with, Ginger is the first major metal band and who announced a real tour in the post-COVID era. And I was just sitting thinking about that major band. Are we?
Yeah, y'all are a major band.
Yeah,
you got to accept it.
I still do not accept this. I think that we definitely haven't reached our
the potential,
ceiling.
right?
Yeah, the potential. Yeah, and it's not new. We have never had time to think about that. We first of all, we never stopped. This is the longest gap. We're just sitting on our asses because of the COVID. Yeah. But we have never had time to stop and think where we are. And even now, all these 6 months of doing nothing, we were not just doing nothing. Each of us was making something for the band. Guys in Kiev have written a bunch of songs for the upcoming album. I wrote one, for example, and I made a bunch of videos, playthrough videos. Yeah, and Tatiana was doing these collaborations with Suicide Silence. Yeah, we were deeply into yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. So, and we were deeply into music all this time. So for us, yeah, no rest for the wicked, I would say. No rest for the wicked.
Right.
We've been constantly pushing forward, and this is, again, getting back to the point of sports, of martial arts, and what they really give you for just life in general. This is what I learned, and I'm still kind of following this thing. I just push forward no matter what.
Well, that's the humility, right? Like, I love that attitude, because I think that's what's gonna take you to where you believe that you're the biggest, right? But if you sit here and say, hey, I'm the greatest, we're the best band ever, like, it's kind of like you can't, I watched Game of Thrones, and that's like what he said. He was talking about, any man who must say he is the king is no true king. right? It's like if you say, hey, we're the best band ever, it's like, no, you're probably not. So for you guys to have that like constant hunger and that constant humility that's like, no, we're not anywhere near we can be, we can always get better. That's what's gonna take you to where nobody else can be, and I love that about you guys. It's awesome.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, yeah.
So like I said earlier off camera, I have not checked out the song Ape, and I know that that was on the Micro EP, so you know, I'm a little bit delayed. But that's the bad thing about reactions is I feel guilty listening to music and not making a reaction for it, right? That it's like, I feel like I can't really listen to music as I want.
Like I said, it's never too late. So the good side of the internet is that everything once made still is there forever.
100%.
Yeah, and we can always just go back a year and a half ago and make a reaction for... Actually, this is not old. Let's just assume Ape was on Micro. Micro was out just a year and a half.
Right, it's still a baby. Still new.
It's still a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when we were off camera, right? Everybody needs that new thing. It's like in today's day and age, it's old, but it just fucking happened. Super annoying.
Super annoying. I completely agree. Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to be checking out Ginger. Song is called Ape. If y'all want to check it out, you haven't heard it, or you want to watch it again, link to the original video will be down below in the description, along with all of Ginger's stuff, along with all of their social media links. Go check them out if you haven't. And if you haven't, you're in for a fucking treat. Okay. So
cool. Let's go for this. It's my favorite, one of my favorite songs.
Is it? So let's get it. I'm super stoked for this. Eugene, thank you so much for being
let's
here
go
again,
for this.
man.
Come on, thank you for inviting
all right.
me. I am absolutely
let's get it.
I love this intro.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
It was raining heavily for 1,000 years, and now the Bible became an ocean. The cooking water, the thermal soap, the natural life-giving potion.
I love this piece.
To create another form of miracle.
God, you're
The mirrored atoms and turn them into your flesh, regenerated to resurrection of chaos. While the young world was caught in itself, no one can notice how he spoke a different path. Voracious ape who walks upright, who does his life to satisfy his appetite.
Hey, either way it goes, I was born to be a screw up. Do the wrong thing and I'm gon' fuck you up. Okay, crew, got my back like pull up. Sipping on the liquor, but it goes straight through us. Squad full of killers and a swag like Jewers. You got a squad full of